Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 883. Hello, this is Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway here at the last place on earth, located somewhere in Podcaster Valley. Today, it's part 2 of my Mike on Mobile Matthews interview with Dan Menapace of the San Francisco band, the Illogistical Resource Department. And we hear an interesting cover that they did of a famous TV show theme. That's on the way. Mike's Daily Podcast. Plus, we hear from Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley at Cafe Anyway. Mike's Daily Podcast. So I love my mom and was so glad to see her recently. I traveled 2,000 miles across our wonderful country and cooked for her with my amazing chili, but something happened that was a bit scary. One day, Chili Omelet appealed to me. Mike's Daily Podcast. So I cracked some eggs I saw in her fridge, but what I did see Mike's coming out of the shells Daily was anything but yolks. Podcast. They may have been yolks at one time. They were definitely not anymore, to which my mom said, "Oh, I didn't think eggs could go bad." Yeah. So, hey, I bet you can't wait to come over to my house to see how well I cook, being that that's what I came from. No, she apparently doesn't use eggs very often, but it's a bit frightening. Look who just walked in. Hello, my Matthews, this is Madame Rootabega, and I can't cook very well either. Really? Yes, Michael Matthew. Oh. Well, you don't have things like old dentures sitting in a cup in the back of the fridge, do you? Oh, that's disgusting. Yeah, well, I may or may not have seen that as well visiting my mom. Look who else just walked in.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we would love to come over to your house sometime. Maybe you could cook something for us. Pour us a glass of wine, day.
Yeah, and maybe Caitlyn Janet could come over. She's beautiful. Do you know that? Bison, do you know that that's not really a woman? What? Of course she's a woman. She's beautiful. She's on the cover of Vanity Fair, and I want to kiss her all over. Do you know that? Ah, Exile song. Okay, well, at some point you'll discover what I'm speaking to you about. What? What do you mean that? Oh my God! I guess I didn't know that. Yeah, I guess not. But you know what? I think it's good that education comes to us at all times. You know, we're always learning things. Our brain's like a sponge. And what helps our brain is food that's not like black in color. But I will digress and not talk about that anymore. Thank you, Michael Matthew. I would like to make you something right now. Okay, great. What is it?
Bands mutations.
Michael Matthew, bands often mutate over their careers, and people from different bands go to other bands. This is one of my favorite bands. Zapata Boys! Yeah! Oh, yeah, that's right. Mike Scott is in that band, but also in that band at one time was the keyboardist for this band. Is it like today? World Party. That's Carl Wallinger. He joined the Waterflowers. Waterflowers? I'm thinking of Hot House Flowers, who was also heavily influenced by the Water Boys. The Water Boys is what I mean. In 1983, shortly after its formation, he left the group 2 years later, but in that relatively short period made important contributions to both A Pagan Place and This Is the Sea. He co-wrote Don't Bang the Drum, the environmentalism anthem on the latter album. His keyboard and synthesizer work expanded the group's sound, and he also did some studio work for demo sessions. His World Party project was heavily influenced by his work with the Water Boys. And this was Don't Bang the Drum from the Water Boys from the This Is the Sea album. And if I know you, you'll bang the drum like 1985, that is from This Is the Sea. So that's the Waterboys World Party connection. You should listen to both those groups. They did some good albums.
Mike, that was an interesting musical tangent.
You're welcome. All right, so what do you think about the Waterboys World Party? People that leave things in their fridge way too long. It's a leftover. Icebox Man, I keep an eye on the things that leftovers make you feel good twice. Once when you save them, I'm saving something. And second, when I'm getting rid of them. It could kill me. The leftover. Okay, thank you, George Carlin, for that. Ooh, and I was listening to a George Carlin bit last night where he totally tore Dan Aykroyd a new one. He basically called Dan Aykroyd out without saying his name. He's like, what the bleep is up with these middle-aged white men that are overweight, that are trying to play the blues? The blues is not a white man's music. He's like, the white men caused the blues. They shouldn't sing the blues. But anyway, it was George Carlin's wonderful. So, what do you think about all that? You can email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com, or read your comments on the section emails from email. Also, email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show, or if you would like to sponsor the show, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. We read your comments on the section emails from email, and your common, not so comments. You can also comment on my Twitter, which is @MikeTalks, or on my Facebook, which is facebook.com/Mike'sDailyPodcast. Go to Mike'sDailyPodcast.com to find links to where to listen to the show in iTunes. You can comment on the show and rate the show there. If you do that, more people find out about us. We're also on YouTube, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, Podomatic, Mixcloud, Spreaker, Player FM, and Ameristream Live. And listen to my morning show, the Mike Matthews Morning Show, which is on a Connecticut radio station called Wolverine Radio, weekday mornings from 6 to 10. A link to that at mikesdailypodcast.com. Also a link to where to listen to my country show that I do on the weekend on Country Crossroads Radio. And you can find where we are on Instagram, Yelp, and Tumblr. And you can also help us out through the Amazon link at mikesdailypodcast.com. Click on that and buy something, and that helps support us, and it doesn't change the way you shop. You can also catch all my past interviews and read my blog and see the daily podcast picture at mikesdailypodcast.com. And now, another installment of Into an Interview, and a Matthews interview with me on mobile.
Mike on mobile.
I'm speaking with Dan Menapace from the Illogistical Resource Department. We're sitting in Dog Patch. We're surrounded by dogs. Actually, no, there's a nice husky sitting by us. But we're at a wine bar, and Dan's drinking. What are you drinking there?
We got some Downtown Brown, local. Yeah. So
they have great art on their bottles.
Yeah. I think this is completely run by women, this brewery. Last I remembered, yeah. It's actually Lost Coast Brewery. Yeah.
Lost Coast Brewery. Oh, and it's all run by women?
Eureka.
In Eureka, California. So that's further north from here.
Yeah.
I think I found a reason to go to Eureka.
Yeah, it's as good as reason as any, I guess. Yeah.
And that's the slogan for California, Eureka. Which was because the miners stunk so bad, and it was like, Eureka, you reek. Okay, no, it was when you find gold, you go, I found it. That's what Eureka means.
Okay.
I've just given you inspiration for another song.
There you go. You know more than me already. I've been here 20 years.
And then Transmission Cinema, the name of the album. Where did that come from?
That was actually from the album art. It was kind of an old organ room, strange organ room that was used for the cover, and I just got that name, the transmission, like transmitting music, and kind of put that together with movies, and because some of our songs are actually written based on like old movies or just kind of things I see in my head, you know. So I put them together, and it was also actually at first I was going to use Transmission Theater, but that was actually an old bar in San Francisco that closed down, and that was where our first CD release party was. So
Oh, wow.
I had to change it, change it up.
Where is that organ? That picture, where was that taken?
Oh, I'm not sure where it was taken. I didn't take the picture. I just found it through a friend. So, but yeah, it's pretty creepy looking.
It is.
Like it's Transylvania or something.
Yeah, Dracula plays that, and then he's like, listen to the music of the night. No, wait. The creatures of the night, what music they make. I forget. He says something. Bela Lugosi.
Yeah, well, some of our songs are actually some based on some cheesy old horror movies.
Oh.
You know, like, so it kind of fits the theme, you know. We have this kind of like, we always find these really cheesy 70s movies and just want to do something with them. You know?
And you make the music. I saw on your Facebook you did the theme to Get Smart.
Yeah, we wanted to do a cover song just in between, you know, before this new album came out, and we were trying to think of a band that we all like, you know, but we couldn't really come up with anything. And I always liked that theme song. You know, it's really quirky, but kind of odd, you know. So we were kind of messing around with the arrangements and stuff, and see if we could do that on our instruments, you know, if it would kind of go over, you know. So I started learning the bass line and adding some things in between it, and it worked out. And then Noah came in we went to our rehearsal space and started recording all this junk percussion, like breaking glass bottles and hitting metal on the ground, and rolling pipes on the ground, and just sampling all that, and using that in the background as like a sequence. And and then Jim came in with the guitar licks where the horns would be in the original, and that's how it came to be.
Ooh, cool. Check it out on their Facebook, facebook.com/IRD, or is it
Illogistical Resource Department?
Illogistical Resource Department.
Yeah.
And tell me about Aphagia Recordings.
Oh, that's just a small label. I started with the last record just to get ourselves off the ground, you know. I haven't really signed anyone else on there yet. We're just working on our own stuff. But yeah, I'd like to start getting some other San Francisco weirdness sounds on there, you know. So it's like odd forms of sound is what it's kind of their motto, you know. So yeah, I want to kind of take that a little further after this album's out and look for some bands that might be interested. So yeah.
Oh wow, here comes a really loud motorcycle. Let's see if we can capture the sounds. Maybe you can put that on one of those records on your new label.
Yeah, we've used stuff like that before, actually. So old diesel cars and stuff.
Oh wait, Buck isn't listening. What kind of dog is Buck?
Brittany.
Brittany? Okay. We're surrounded by dogs here at the dog patch.
Yeah, that's a good spot, I guess. in the dog patch saloon. So.
And I took public transportation here. I have to tell you that I would be an idiot not to, because every 5 seconds a bus or a train goes by. It's crazy.
Yeah, this part of town got built up so much. I mean, just like 10 years ago, they were saying that the BART line was going to be coming down here, the Muni line.
Oh wow!
So everybody was just like buying everything up around here because they knew it was coming. So yeah, we used to play down at the end of 3rd Street. There was an old club called the Pound SF, and it's still kind of run down out there. It's just a post office out there, but yeah, it's all working down towards that direction, you know.
Tell me about the song "Lost for Words." It has this kind of like a Greek feel to it. Like I want to eat some dolmates. Is that it?
Yeah.
Is that the grape leaf thing?
It sounds about right. Yeah. Yeah, Jim Harris, he came in with a bouzouki instrument. I've never seen one before, but it's actually a Greek instrument. It's kind of like a cross between like an acoustic guitar and a mandolin kind of. And I wasn't sure if that sound would fit with our band, but the things he played on it and the scales he used had this kind of a ominous feel to it, even though it's tuned to like more of like a major tuning, just DG, I think. But yeah, he made it. He had this pretty crazy riff, kind of quirky riff too, and it took me a while to figure out something interesting to do on bass over that. So I have a fretless bass, so I was messing around with that over top of it and just came up with something kind of a little outside the box, not exactly what he's doing, just going in and around what he's doing kind of. And yeah, it worked out pretty good. So yeah, we wanted to do one more bouzouki tune, but we figured 11 songs were enough. So.
Greek and rock together. You got like Miserlou. That was like a big surf rock tune, right? Yeah. And so let's listen to it. From the album Transmission Cinema, this is Lost for Words. So inspired by the instrument, the Greek instrument.
Yeah. I think there's two different types of bouzouki's. There's Greek, and I think an Irish one. They have a slightly different sound.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, one's a little bit more tinier sounding than the other one, but I think the one that Jim has sounds better than the other one, I think.
Let's listen and rock out to Lost for Words. It's the Illogistical Resource Department and Dan Menapace with Mike's Daily Podcast.
All right.
Department at facebook.com/illogistical resource department. As we go outside a cafe anyway here at the last place on earth located somewhere in Podcastro Valley.
And here's today's podcast picture.
The picture is of myself wearing a really stupid hat and Dan Menapace over there in Dog Patch, Illogistical Resource Department, being represented by Dan. You can see that picture now at mikesdailypodcast.com. Michael Masters, it looks like it was a very nice place. Yeah. And you're wearing a very strange hat. Ooh. Yeah. What happened? Did you eat some bad eggs and it made you want to wear that hat? I just wore it. My head was cold. I'm bald.
Mike, you're bald? I didn't know that.
Yeah, we didn't know that. Do you know that? Or about the Bruce Jenner thing? Yeah. No, you guys did. Next show, it's the finale of my Into An interview with the Illogistical Resource Department. They should actually spell it that way. Everywhere I print illogistical, by the way, on the internet, it always it's like, that is not a word. You cannot use that. Stop. Meltdown. Plus, we hear from Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the engineer.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!